What up, this is Marco Polo, producer, Toronto, Brooklyn, New York, and we're here at the legendary A1, about to get my dig on. Let's go. I used to come here all the time when I moved here from Toronto. I actually bought my first expensive record, which was ESG. And this right here, for those that know, shouts to Ultimate Beats and Breaks, ESG, the legendary song UFO. To me, that's the sound of New York. If you needed a sound when you were making a beat to fill space, every producer went for this sound. Okay, so now I got a chunk of the record in the MPC. I'm gonna play the selection that I made. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna separate the stems using MPC Stems, which is 4 groups. If you go over here to stems, you can see it's vocals, bass, drums, and other. And it's pretty crazy, man. You just press this button and the stems appear. Since Akai introduced the stems, it's like a whole new way to approach sampling something now and being able to separate all the elements. So it's making my mind explode at the possibilities. So I'm gonna press do it. It's gonna process. So now we have it stemmed out, all the individual parts. I'm just gonna play a loop, a 4-bar loop I made of the track, how crazy you can just separate and bring the volume in and out of different elements. Unbelievable. Drums back in. It's crazy. Because essentially you can remix the levels of your favorite joints. If you wanted to sample something, vocals are too loud, guitar's too loud. Now you can just literally have your own mix on things. It's really, the world is your creative oyster here. What's crazy, I'm talking about drum breaks because we needed the drums to be open. But once again, now with the stems, the drums no longer need to be open. I can grab drums from any of these records, whether they're isolated in the original recording or not, which once again, I don't think we're really like absorbing what that means on a creative level. It's gonna be very interesting to see the next 5 years of beat making with the stems now. The possibilities are endless, it's pretty crazy. Okay, so now that I got my chops ready, as a producer, my process has always been start with the drums first, which can be limiting, but I've done it my whole career. And right now I'm gonna load up some of my own drums. This is off Pad Thai 1, one of the sequences. Now, as a producer, I always like to nod my head and get a drum sequence going, and then I will position the samples. I'll kind of have a little jam session. So I'll just kind of have a drum loop, if it's 2 bars, 4 bars, and I'll start playing the samples over it just to get a vibe to see how things, you know, roll. Feels good. Nothing complex, but the timing of the sample on the drums. Producer rule number 1, always better to be lazy than early. Always. Sounds gotta be lazy. Basses, samples. That's just me though.
You know, one of the most beautiful things in life is when a boy finds the girl he loves.
See how those chords are coming in and the voices are over? This is a perfect example of how you can remove the vocals. So we all have our own rules when it comes to like looking for records. Like obviously reading the credits, getting familiar with drummers, bass players, that play on records. If I see a certain drummer like Bernard Purdy, I'm like, okay, that's gonna have something crazy, buy it, if I'm not familiar with the artist. I used to avoid the soul bins because everyone was sampling soul and I was trying to sound different, so I would go for like the library records or the soundtracks, but I've exhausted that genre in my beats and now I'm definitely going back to the soul bins. There's like so many beats on this record, I gotta sample that now too. Hold on a second, it's crazy. All right, hold on. So I'm trying all these stems from all these records. If I don't use all those sounds in the final beat, I don't care, it's the process. Stems gives you an opportunity to actually revisit everything in a whole way. Like nothing is a throwaway anymore. From whether you need one isolated sound in something to drums where you're like, man, I wish that sound wasn't there. Like now we can do it. I hear those horns, brrr. That horn, I like that horn. We got a beat now, finally. It's your boy Marco Polo, and this concludes the first MPC Stems Cook Up. You've witnessed some next level futuristic sampling. Let's go.
But now having the stems, the control is even crazier. That's why I'm super excited to get home and chop some more stuff up. Stems, get yours now.